Welcome to another episode of We Don't Die, where my goal is to give you evidence that although our bodies will disappear, we survive physical death. I'm your host, Sandra Champlain, author of the #1 international best-selling book called We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. And we're recording this show just February 8th, 2019, and want to just let you know, if you haven't heard already, I will be doing a live event in Orlando, Florida, March 29th through 31st, sharing the stage with some great people, all talking about the evidence of the afterlife, living a powerful life, help through grief, and the lineup is spectacular. So it's one of my first few events happening in the world, and I'm very excited, and I'd love to have you be there. The website for that is WeDon'tDieOrlando.com to find out more. Today on this show, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Hassan Zee. Dr. Hassan is a medical doctor and a writer, producer, director of 4 feature films, including his latest, Good Morning Pakistan. He is also a medium and a spiritual healer. Dr. Hassan is dedicated to spreading the message of spirit, that our loved ones never leave us and are always with us, giving us hope and sending us love from the other side. We just have to connect with them. He now serves at the Golden Gate Spiritualist Church, as well as Celebrate Life and other spiritualist churches around the Bay Area in California. Dr. Hassan Zee, welcome to We Don't Die Radio.
Hello, Sandra. Oh, thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Well, I'm excited, and we spoke for just a few minutes before recording, and I think we have big smiles on our faces right now, and maybe the listener can feel that.
Yes, when we are happy and healthy and we smile, then we bring a lot of positive vibrations into our life, and our life becomes more easier.
Well, that's how I feel right now, and I wasn't feeling that before I called you, so I think there has something to do with it. It's infectious. Well, tell us a little bit about you. You have done so much in your life so far with medicine, with the films, and I'm just so surprised you're also a medium. How does one man fit it all in? Maybe you can give us a little bit of your background story.
Yes, so ever since I was a child, I know that I was a storyteller, and I remember that there was something about me walking. Like, I walk a lot, and I have ended up here in the city of San Francisco, where everybody loves to walk. You know how in New York and in Chicago and San Francisco, people love to walk because it's so crowded. And, it's so hard to drive and park. So when I was a kid, I would walk like about a mile every day from my house to, school. I can remember that I was about 14 years old, and I felt a presence of a hand on my shoulder all the time when I was walking. And as a kid, I thought everybody had a hand on their shoulder. Like there was a friend who was, putting his hand on the shoulder. But this was a pretty big hand. Like I could really feel the presence of this big, like a man holding, putting his hand on my shoulder while I'm walking. And it was so comforting. So I was very, very intelligent student, and everybody said, Hassan, you are going to be a doctor. So this was, everybody was telling me that I'm going to be a doctor. So I was 19, and I got accepted in the medical school through a scholarship. And I finished my medicine when I was 26. But along the way, I was going to radio and television in the evenings, doing like small programs, participating in the shows. And that way I was keeping my, the storytelling and my filmmaking alive in my heart. And but along the way, I just did not understand about this spiritual experience which I was having. So I thought, okay, this guy has his hand on my shoulder, and I just felt nothing of it. I just thought that everybody had a hand on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to America when I was 27 years old, and I ended up here in San Francisco. And in 2000, I was sleeping in my bedroom, and this event just changed my life. So I'm sleeping in my bedroom, and around 2 a.m., I suddenly wake up, and I know there was a feeling of that I'm asleep and I'm also awake. I have never had this feeling before in my life. And suddenly I saw a white light inside my body. And there was another human being inside my body. And I was like, wow, this white light, this white being is inside me. And then suddenly this white light, human form, started to raise out of my body. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening with me? And then this white light went up towards the roof and was touching the roof. It went to all the corners, four corners of the room. And I was like, oh my gosh, my soul has left my body and it's up there. And I could see it. And then it suddenly started to go towards the door and was going to open the doorknob and leave. And I was like, oh my gosh, my soul is leaving my body. And with all my power and everything, energy I had in my body, I pulled my soul back. And then I woke up, and my whole body was in perspiration. And I had never had an experience like this before in my life.
No.
And I was like, wow. So I was very scared. And in the morning, I called my friends, and they said it was an out-of-body experience, which I did not know very much about. And then I love to go to San Francisco Public Library. And I was drawn over there towards the spiritual section, and the books started to fall in front of me. I would look around, and there's some book sitting over there, as if the book said, read me, read me, read me.
Right.
And I was like overwhelmed by this phenomena. And I started reading books about spirituality. And within a week, my friend Thomas called me and said, I'm going to take you to, I have not talked to him anything about this. And he said that we are going somewhere. So I said, okay. So on a Wednesday, we went to this church. It's called Golden Gate Spiritualist Church. And as soon as I walked in, they give you a brochure in which all the calendar and all the events which are happening in the church for that month are printed out. So, and then there's a picture of this woman, Florence Becker, who started the church. So when I looked at the dates, she was born on February 16th, past 1970. I was born on February 16th, 1970.
Oh.
I was like, wow, the numbers. And then I felt inside me that I'm at home. And my soul started to feel at ease as something I have already arrived at, a place where I needed to be. So since then, it has been 19 years now, I have been going to Golden Gate Spiritualist Church, and I am a medium there. So it was quite a journey. Like in the first meeting when I went there was a group of people sitting upstairs, and there was a small seance and also like a spiritual mediumship circle happening. And I went in there, and I started to talk about this woman, Florence. she started to tell me things about her family and who she was. And the people they were like, where did you get this information from? And I was like, I have no idea. This woman is just telling me all these things. And everybody was astonished over there. And I just started going there. I just keep going there. And while I was reading all these books about spirituality, I found my calling there at Golden Gate Spiritualist Church.
That's such a beautiful story. And I'm assuming the information you're giving about Florence is correct. And they're astonished that you know these things. Is that right?
Yes, Florence Becker was the founder of Golden Gate Spiritualist Church. And the church has been around now for about 90 years. And it's here in San Francisco. So whenever anybody comes to San Francisco, I would highly recommend them to go and check it out. It's on Franklin and Gough Street in San Francisco. And it's called Golden Gate Spiritualist Church.
Oh, that's great. And the day that she moved into the spirit world, you came into existence on planet Earth. I love that. I do.
Yes, and every year, February 16th, which is coming up next week.
Yes, it is.
On Saturday, it's my birthday, and it's also Florence's birthday, so they do the big celebration at the church.
Oh,
it's
fun.
The, birthday of the church. So it's going to be my birthday and Florence Becker's birthday, and there'd be like 200 people over there, and we'll have a great time.
Oh, I'll toast you from here in Massachusetts. That's so exciting. I want to ask you, in this, because now you're developing, you still have your practice as a doctor, correct? The
yes.
Clinic. And now somehow you're also starting to make movies, and you're becoming a medium all at the same time?
Yes, I have made 4 feature films.
Yes.
Which have been released in theaters, in the independent theaters here in America. So I'm blessed.
Congratulations. I was looking at them and I thought, oh, I'm going to play those. Yes, that's so exciting. Because that involves a lot of time, a lot of work. As I'm sure the medical practice does too. Oh, it's interesting because...
Well, I do physical therapy, so it's not... because when I came to America, I was asking God, Spirit, I was asking that, dear God, I have this wonderful knowledge, and I spent 8 years of my life, but the medical field is very, very tough. Doctors work like 12 to 14 hours every day just to, survive in this world. And I asked the Spirit for guidance, and I was given the guidance. So I was more directed towards healing. So I work 4 days, and it's just enough for me to be able to in that profession. And then 3 days I spent on my filmmaking, and Wednesday night I go to my mediumship. So I have created a balance of all the 3 things which I love in my life. And I go to my mediumship circles and Golden Gate Spiritualist Church regularly. And, whenever I'm scheduled over there, I do mediumship and I give people readings. And people have given me amazing feedback and how it has changed their life. And there are wonderful stories about what happened after once, I started going to this spiritualist circle and spiritualist platform. I call it platform. And it's also grounding. Like you have to keep going, because as a human being, we forget things. We go to a place and we really enjoy. At that moment, we're enjoying the vibration, and we are there, and we're like, wow, I'm experiencing this, and the loved ones are coming close to me. But then as human beings, we forget, because life comes in between. We have, family, we have jobs, we have other things to worry about, but then it kind of takes us away from that vibration. But what we need to do is go back into that vibration, go among those people again who are in their spirit circle, and re-energize, get grounded, and that helps me.
Well, that's really good advice for anyone. Before we got on this call today, Hassan, I just felt very overwhelmed with everything that's coming up for me and what I needed to do today, and there's no way I can get it all done, and I was feeling a little bad. And then when I was reading about you and just knowing we're going to have this interview, and I'm thinking, this man's a doctor, a filmmaker, a medium, and you just said the word that I needed to hear is balance. And so thank you for that. And also being grounded and having your circle or having your church and being reminded, whether it's on a weekly basis or however, that there's more to life than just working and family and everything. There is the unseen world and our own spirituality. And it sounds like that's what you're getting on your Wednesday nights.
Absolutely. And since going to the Golden Gate Spiritualist Church, I have realized that we are all on a path. We have our own path. And my path of going into the spiritual, world and learning about it, because I was one day about to go to New York for my film. My film was getting distribution, and I had to fly to New York, and my bags are packed, and I am going to the airport, and suddenly I get a call from my brother from Pakistan, and he says that our sister, elder sister, Nisa, is sick. So I had this incredible feeling as if I wanted to know more. Mm-hmm. I said, there's more to it. She's not just sick. Why are you not telling me? Why are you not telling me? I got a little nervous. And then he said that she has passed.
Oh.
And I was like, wow. So I'm at the airport, flying to New York. I'm about to go into the plane, which is going to be like thousands of feet high.
Yes.
In the air. So I go into the plane and I sit on my chair in the plane, on the seat, and I close my eyes. And for a little bit, I go into another world, and I think I went to sleep. And I suddenly saw my sister. She came very, very close, and she kissed me on my forehead. And then she showed me a beautiful butterfly. And I'm like amazed to see this beautiful butterfly and my sister standing there. And then there's a beautiful garden. She's standing in that. And then she says, come, walk with me. So we walked together. And she showed me this beautiful house. And it is made of flowers, like incredible, beautiful flowers. And she says, this is my house. I live here. And this butterfly, I sit on the wings of this butterfly, and it takes me all over the world, and I can see the world from above. And this is so beautiful, wonderful experience. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had this imagination, this wonderful dream, and I wake up and I felt at peace. Is the peace inside me, that my sister is okay. She's okay in the other world, on the other vibration. And then what happened? About a year later, I am here in downtown San Francisco, and it's my day off, and I suddenly see this small van, and there was a sign on it, let's take you to the to the Golden Gate Garden. We have a big
Yes.
park, Golden Gate Park here in San Francisco. So, and I was like, what is this? I was just looking at it. And they said, oh, there are trolley dancers who are doing some dances in the Golden Gate Park in the Conservatory of Flowers. And it is free. And you can come in. And I'm just looking over there, and I look at my, cell phone, and I'm like, oh, it's my day off, so I have, 2-3 hours to, relax. So I was the only person in that little bus, which took me to Golden Gate Park, to the Conservatory of Flowers. And I walk in, and suddenly they told that there is an exhibition of 3,000 butterflies from all over the world. So I walk in, and these butterflies are kind of sitting on my shoulders, on my head, on my face. And I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. Oh my gosh. And I had a wonderful, wonderful time. And I come back home, and I get a call. And my mother calls me from Pakistan and says, Hassan, do you remember today is your sister's anniversary?
Oh.
And I was like, wow, all those butterflies which came to see me and touch me and tell me something. Yes, it was my sister.
No
who
coincidence.
wanted to come and say that she is around and she loves me. So since then, my life has just turned into a spiritual vibration every day. Whatever I do, whatever comes towards me, I just feel that it is coming from spirit.
Do you find, Hassan, that the happier you are and the more filled with joy, the more things happen, the more synchronicities or miracles, or that you're aware of more things?
Yes. When you are happy, you're attracting more happy vibrations towards yourself. And I have learned over the years that it's not that I was happy all the time. I had when I was younger, just like any other person, coming from another country, you have to go through a lot to adjust into a new country. You have to do all kind of jobs. You have to somehow manage it. And, you keep thinking when you're younger, when you're especially in your 20s and early 30s, you're like, why is life treating me like this? Oh my gosh, what have I done? I am the most sad person in this world. But I have learned that everything sad which comes towards us is basically telling us there's happiness right next door.
Right.
So everything which comes towards you, if there was no sadness, then you wouldn't really know what happiness means. So even when you are a little distressed or something sad which has happened to you, you just, I feel sadness, and I feel like, okay, this happened. It should not have happened, but it has happened. But then I start looking at the positive side of it. Like, what is the spirit trying to tell me? I need to look at that. Because there's a story to it. Do you want to hear more stories, Sandra?
I love the stories, yes. We all love the stories. So,
basically, when I came to America, I got a job at St. Francis Hospital here. As I was working there, and it was a new job, and I was new from another country, and so I was working there for like 4 months, And the Christmas was about to come, and everybody was happy, giving everybody gifts, and oh, Christmas is coming and all that. And then I go into the, manager calls me one day and she says, why don't you come into the office? So I go into the office, and she tells me that there's a letter of termination. And I'm like, what? I was totally confused. I was like, oh my gosh, as if somebody had pulled the whole earth under my feet. And I know that I was walking out, and my feet were really heavy, and I could not walk. And I was like, wow. But at that time, I was walking down the street. At that time, something happened. Some spirit came very close to me and told me that this is your time to really pursue your passion. We did not wanted you to go in that direction. We wanted you to come into this direction. So I was pointed towards the San Francisco library. And then I started reading books about cinema. And I wrote a screenplay. And one day, I went to this shop where they rented the 35 millimeter cameras back then. I mean, we are talking 2004. And I saw a list of Academy Award nominated filmmakers and cinematographers.
Right.
And I asked the guy who worked there, I said, does anybody of them live here in the Bay Area? And he told me that this one guy, Hiro Narita, he lives here in Petaluma. So I called him up, and I met Hiro, and I showed him my screenplay, and he loved my screenplay. And this guy who has worked on Academy Award films, he has like Never Cry Wolf, Honey and Shrunk the Kids, he said he will shoot my movie.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking my first feature film. And it was called Night of Henna. You can check it on YouTube or, on my website, doczfilms.com. So, Hiro, he said, I would love to shoot your movie. And I was like, wow, this is something amazing. This is something. Then I thought back of the day when, the job was taken away from me. I was like, wow, I need to go into this direction. So I saw on the internet about Panavision giving cameras to new filmmakers to shoot their movies. So I called Panavision, I called them up, and the woman who was sitting on the other side taking my call, she said, who's your cinematographer? And I said, Hiro Narita. And she said, oh my gosh, Hiro, she worked with him 20 years ago on an internship.
What are the chances of that?
And they said, everything you need, cameras, lighting, everything, just send us a list and we'll give it to you.
That's spectacular.
So about $200,000 worth of equipment was sent to me to shoot my first feature film.
Incredible.
So that's how I made my first film, Night of Henna, which was released in 20 cities here in the U.S. And we got great, I got distribution, and that's another story. How we got distribution and how I was flown over into different cities with red carpets laid out for me to walk on them. And people came and watched my movie. And then I can never forget the day when I was in New York and they're doing a press screening of my film. And right next door was Robin Williams' film being screened. And he comes out. He opens the door and Robin Williams is standing over there. And I was like, wow. And I was like, I could not believe my eyes that my film was screening right next to his film. And I was like, wow. I mean, I have came a long way, and Spirit has helped me so much tremendously. It's just the matter of believing. You believe in the Spirit, you believe in the loved one, and you believe in the angels who are working with you day and night. This is just a loving vibration. We are all vibrations. We are just expressing ourselves and all the vibrations which have passed into the spirit world. Our loved ones, their love is never going to die. So they are still around. And I keep telling that. I give that message every day, every week, every Wednesday, everywhere. And that's how people, when they listen to it, they just love me, and it makes me happy, and I'm a happy person.
Well, it's easy to love you. I feel good. I feel the vibration. I feel good right now. Just talking to you, I would think anyone who's listening right now feels that as well. Hassan, can you give us some stories about you being a medium and maybe what it was like? Yes, you saw Florence, but when you started working with people and realizing that you could identify their loved ones.
Yes. So basically, one day, now there are a lot of people who I have worked with, and this this person, Rosalie, now she's a friend also. I have given her many readings, but I will give an example because it's so important for people to understand. So she called me and she said that she was having hard time and she was sad and she's so far away. Her mother has passed. And so I invited her to come um, to meet me, and she came. And then it was a really, really hot day. It was so hot. And we were here in this, there's another little church which I go to once a month, and it's called Celebrate Life. And we were there. It was so hot, extremely hot that, we were perspiring. And then we were sitting like in a little balcony, and I was giving her reading because we wanted to sit outside because, the air was quite hot inside the room. So she came and sat in front of me, and her eyes were all teared up, and out of nowhere, I mean, this Sandra, you won't believe, out of nowhere, a little cloud came and it started to rain while I'm giving her this reading and telling her. So when I give a reading, I believe that we have to identify the spirit.
Right.
So I told her few things about the spirit which is coming in to meet her and greet her, so that the person who's getting the reading knows that it's definitely him or her which they are trying to connect to. So I have to give evidence. That's what we do there in Golden Gate Spiritualist Church. It's an evidential mediumship. Like, you don't ask too many questions from the subject. You give them information first to confirm that this is a person who has came in, and then slowly you talk about what that message is coming through. So we were sitting, and suddenly it started to rain, and we were all like, wow, this breeze kind of just came in. And she started to cry, and she's like, oh my gosh, my mother is here. And as soon as the reading finished, the rain was also done with. So we had this incredible experience. And then in Golden Gate Spiritualist Church, I go, 2 or 3 times on a Wednesday night, and I have given so many messages to people, and people come to me and they said, yes. And sometimes the words which the Spirit has said to them when they were alive over here, like yesterday I was at Celebrate Life, and suddenly this woman came, and she was talking about the gatekeeper, as if she's the gatekeeper she's taken the job of the gatekeeper in the other world for the spirits who are walking through into the other world. She takes care of them, and she loves them, and she comforts them. So I was talking about the gatekeeper, and then this man in the, audience started to cry, and he said that yes, when she was here, we talked about the gatekeeper, and I was like, wow, that's the confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
So I do readings. I mean, I have, my plate is full with filmmaking.
But you keep putting things on your plate, because before we started this interview, you are open for people to contact you and do medium readings. You're a giver.
Yeah. Yes, and also, it's okay, because the gift which I have, I want to give it to people. And I will, somehow the Spirit will make time for whatever needs to get done. So I don't worry about it, because my films are going to get done, my work is going to get done, and the people who are going to reach me, and they are longing to meet their loved ones.
Yes.
So I will give them time, and Spirit will make time. So I'm not worried.
Do you ever have, Hassan, things that come into your mind that the spirit world wants you to say that you think, is this my imagination? This sounds crazy. But then the person is saying, no, that's perfect.
No, because I don't work with skepticism.
Okay.
When I was, in the very beginning, like in 2000, my journey of spiritualism started. So in first 2 years, I was a little skeptic.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay, why this thought is coming in my head, or why I'm saying this, or also here's another thing, people might think that mediums are we see people and we just start going into their life. I don't work like that. It's about permission.
Right.
It's about timing. You are going to sit with somebody, or you have an intention, like if somebody gets a phone reading, so it's his or her intention. So I have to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going into other people's life or into their spiritual worlds with their permission. I don't walk down the street and look at people and say oh, that's going to happen to that one, or that's going to...
Or your grandfather's with you. You see that on TV a lot, I think, with some of these mediums. So it's just, and obviously it sells TV shows and things like that they do that sort of thing. But
yeah, the thing is that, as we talked in the very beginning, the balance, I think that some mediums who are on TV or, radio, they have the ability, but then, if they're going to start taking it to another, abundance, too much of everything is not good.
Right.
So you have to kind of create a balance. You have to create a respect for other people. Some people think that, oh, I should just call the medium and ask, what I'm going to eat this evening, or, am I going to go there, or what's going to happen? I don't work that way. It's more of a very spiritual, it's like you have a spirit, you have a soul. So we are working with that. It's very delicate. It's very important. So, I'm not going to every day, get up and start giving out, throwing out messages. I just have to be very careful with the gift which I have been given.
Yes, I believe that too. Now, let me ask you a question. Because you are in filmmaking, how, because I have a funny feeling that you want to impact the most amount of people in your lifetime with joy, with a sense of spirituality. Do you have a way that you strategically inject your films with some of this good feeling? It may not be about mediumship, but I believe your last movie was really impactful, helping people. Do you want to just share with, because I know my other job is feeding people, so I have a catering business with my mother. So even though I'm not talking to people about the afterlife, I'm giving people a good experience, good food, lots of love, great service, always smiling. And I just have this feeling that in your movies, you're injecting this part of yourself as well.
Yes, every film which I did, there was always spirit in it. So in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing, like, because I'm telling a story. And also, like, I have been doing this for 18 years, filmmaking also, along with my mediumship. So I was always thinking, like, how I'm going to bridge this gap, what I'm going to do about both of these things. But then I realized I'm already doing it because one time, now I'll tell you this story. One time I wrote a screenplay. This is my third feature film. And I wrote that there's a beautiful house, and it's more than 100-year-old house. And there are 3 floors to it. And there's our spirits walking around. So I wanted to make this movie about the spirit who has passed. And so I wrote this screenplay. It took me about 6-7 months to finish this screenplay. So now is the time for, looking at locations and where are we going to shoot this film. So my friend Paige, she sometimes, like, actually every other month, she comes to get a reading from me. She's been getting readings from me for the last 10 years.
Oh,
it really
nice.
Helps them. It transforms her life. So she called me and said that her friend has a little place, beautiful little place, in Oakland, which I should see for filming there. So I said, okay, I'll come down and look at it. So I go there and I see the place and I really loved it. And I thought, okay, this is going to be the pastor's house, where I'm going to shoot the pastor's house scenes. And then I'm coming out and I just walk like half a block and I see this incredible building, and it's a big plaque over there called Cohen Bray House. And it was more than 100-year-old building with 3 stories, and there's nobody living there. And I knock there, and this old man comes out, and I said, I'm going to make a movie, and I want to look at this house. And he opened the door, he took me inside, and he said they have been waiting for years for somebody to come and shoot a movie over here, because this house has been preserved for the last 100 years by the city of Oakland.
Beautiful.
And I was like, wow. I mean, the red building, the way I imagined, the way there were 3 floors and everything which was in it. Then I shot the movie. My film House of Temptation was shot there. So Spirit has been helping me in all different ways. So my films, that my next film, which I just finished, which has won the Best Feature Film Award here in, it's a little festival here in San Francisco. It's called Another Hole in the Head Film Festival.
Oh, congratulations, by the way.
We won the Best Feature Film Award, and my film, Good Morning Pakistan, was accepted in India. I mean, it's unheard of. Like, it's very rare for a Pakistani film to be shown in India.
Beautiful.
So my film was the only film which got selected in Haryana International Film Festival in India in January. We just did the festival.
Excellent.
So I was like, wow. And that film also has a spirit present in it. And it's called Good Morning Pakistan. So if anybody wants to check out my films, they can just go to www.doczeefilms.com.
Yes, and that's DOCZEE films.com. I'm so proud of you. And it's really interesting to me because, first of all, I feel very good while we're talking right now. Me listening to your stories. I feel that raise of energy. I mean, I really do. And hopefully our listener can too. But I'm thinking, I have this belief, Hassan, that the time has come for there to be a shift on the planet, really, for people to remember who we are, to know that there's this spiritual side to us, that the spirit world exists. And I see some very, I don't think the word's affluent, but people that are in some pretty big positions, doctors, attorneys, filmmakers, that are also mediums, that are also involved with spirituality. And I think when the time comes for more movies to happen and things like that, the spirit world is already lining up people in these different industries, that big things are going to happen in the future. They're happening now, but I honestly think there's going to be some even greater things happening with you and your films and your mediumship. And I'm excited to be your new friend and excited for the day we meet. I would love that. But this is just great. I'm very proud of you. I'm excited to see your films. And I know watching them, I will feel that energy that you've injected in them, the spirituality, the good vibes.
What I would suggest to listeners who are listening to your show, and I know you have hundreds of shows and a lot of people are listening to what you're bringing, this gift and serving the spirit world. And that is just amazing. I would say that, we should, when we are going somewhere and suddenly something happens and we're like, oh, I was saved, or we are in a car and we suddenly feel like, oh, our direction was changed, and oh my gosh, if I was there, something accident would have happened. Or these are spirits helping us, guiding us, taking us away from the bad things which were going to happen to us. I mean, these are our loved ones who are always around us. And it's like there's no time in that world, on that vibration. So we can connect with them at any moment, like in an instant, they are right there. And then, you can talk to a medium or a psychic to help you get connected with them. And also, a lot of people who come to, these spirit circles, they also start to develop this because they are grounding themselves. So I would suggest that, if you have some spirit circle, somewhere where you can go. And I'm also thinking of starting like an online spirit circle so people can just, come there and be part of that. Wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, so every day I get up and I know that Spirit has something lined up for me. And when I go to work, I see other people that are like, oh, I'm so tired and how am I going to get through this day? And I'm excited to see my clients. I love my clients. I want to work with them. They came in to get healing energy from me. So I love to meet my clients. I love to meet people. I love to meet actors. Anybody who has something to share. And just the way, the food. Oh my gosh, like, Spirit loves food because food is a connection which kind of, like we eat food, it gives us energy.
Right.
So energy, it's a vibration. So Sandra, when you are working with all these people, giving them food, you are infusing your loving energy into this, and you are providing such a great service to these people because when you make them happy, they eat good food, they say like, wow, and they praise you. So that's a great accomplishment because not everything is money energy. Like,
right.
I know we need money. I know we have to have a lot of it, but we also have to look at happiness. Like, money is not going to bring happiness. There are other things which we have to know which are going to bring happiness. The joy, being happy, meeting people, spending time with your friends, eating good food. Even a little good food is going to change your vibration, make you happy. So cherish that and be grateful, thankful, because the more thankful we are to the universe, then the more abundance the universe brings to us.
I just thought of
these are
two things.
Yeah, these are few things which I have learned over the years, and I try to, infuse them in my life every day.
What I wanted to say, Hassan, thank you for that, is I heard Silver Birch, this is a quote, that service is the coin of the spirit world. So anytime you serve another person, that's like the biggest thing you can do. And I love that. Service is the coin of the spirit world. And then the other thing I was thinking, as far as you just said, gratitude, I remember somebody saying once how important it is to say thank you. And they said, if you could imagine your grandmother giving you a Christmas gift and you never say thank you, well, how much more is she going to give you? You know, the more you say thank you and you're really appreciative, it makes people want to give. And I think the same way with the universe and the spirit world, when we can really sit with, I'm so grateful for this, then it's like, oh, they see this, let's give a little bit more, you know? So, and it feels good too. It feels good.
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah, so when I was a kid, now I'm thinking back, when I was a kid, I had this thing in me, and I had a great relationship with my mother, and she has passed into the spirit. She passed into the spirit in like 2017. It has already been like 2 years, and time is flying.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I would talk to her, and I would say, Mother, you know, I'm really thankful for what we have, because there are some people who are so poor and they live in these tiny little houses, and, you know, we have a big house, a nice house, we have a little garden. I want to be thankful. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to these little plants. I want to say thank you to these little trees. And my mom would look at me and she's like, wow. She was just amazed at how I would think. So I had that thing of thanking people. Like, you know, if anybody does even a little thing for you, just say thank you. Because you're saying that to the universe, and the universe listens every time you say thank you from your heart. The universe listens to that, and then the universe gives you more and more and more. And these are some of the basic principles of the universe. So gratitude is just important and so amazing.
There was a book that I read, Hassan, I think it's called The Magic, and it's by the woman Rhonda Byrne who did the movie The Secret. You know that movie? I think it's called The Magic.
Yes, I have seen that movie many times.
But The Magic is a book, and I think that's the book, and it's a 28-day practice of gratitude, and every day you read one chapter, and there's different things that you're grateful for. And I remember in those 28 days, it was almost like magic happened in my life. The people that came in, the good things that happened. And it was so obvious that what I was doing differently was being grateful for already the things I had and how much more came in. And it's now that I'm talking to you about it, I think I'm going to reread the book because it was such a basic, easy thing and it felt good, but then things were happening. So gratitude really stirs up the universe, and I think it's wonderful.
Yes. It changes the vibration. Wow, now I'm feeling that my vibration has changed also. Like, can you feel it in my voice?
I felt it in your voice. Now you should feel it in my voice, and we're just giving it back to each other. Since your mom has passed into the spirit world not that long ago, how are you doing? Because you're still human. We still experience grief. Have you felt her presence? How has that been for you? Because it was hard for when my dad left, and even though I have the belief, it's still difficult.
Yes. So what happened was that 2016, December, I got a call from my mom. And my mom said that I'm just having a little chest pain once in a while. And what do you think, Hassan? You're a doctor. And I said, Mom, you're going to be okay. These kind of things happen. You know, I was just being a son. So these kind of things happen, and I will ask the younger brother to take you to the hospital, and then she said, why don't you come and visit me? I said, okay. So I booked my flight December 31st, 2016. I'm in the plane. So I don't know, like, these important dates, I'm usually in the planes. And then I fly, and my plane lands in Pakistan on the 1st of the new year.
Yeah.
So I go there and I meet my mom, and she's so happy, and we are in such a happy vibration. And this idea comes into my head that I should record like my mom's life history, like just like a recording on the tape. So we talk every morning. We get up, and my mom makes like a cup of coffee, tea in the morning, and we sit and we just talk about her life and where was she born. And I got to know a lot about her. I mean, she was like 72. And we talked and talked, and I had about 12 hours of that footage. And then I was there in Pakistan, and I started to meet these people which I haven't seen in 20 years. And they all said, Hassan, you're making movies in America. Why don't you make one here? So I was like, wow, I have a plan to make my new film, and here I am in Pakistan. So I told my mom, I want to shoot a movie, and I think I'm going to shoot in Pakistan. And she said, that would be so much fun. And I decided to make the film in Pakistan. So we even shot few of the scenes in my house.
Nice.
And my mother is also in one of the scenes as an extra, sitting and listening to the music, which we brought in a couple of other big artists to come and play the music, and we shot that scene, and mom is sitting in the audience. So we shot the film because I actually came back to America after meeting my mom, and then I went back again. Within a month, I went back again. And I stayed there for the whole month of March. And, I shot the movie, and these actors came into our house, and we stayed there. And then we shot the movie in the village where I was born. We also put in all those shrines, which my mother used to take me to as a kid.
Great.
And so we shot the whole film. All the actors went back to where they came from. And a week after, my mom passed into the spirit.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I had to experience this. And she passed in my hands in the hospital. I was the last person she was looking at when she passed into the spirit. I mean, I have never stayed in Pakistan ever that long in the last 20 years. And this was the only time I went there and I stayed the whole month of January and the whole month of March. 2 months of last time of my mother here on the planet Earth. I was so blessed. So my mom passed in the spirit, and I was fine at that time. The spirit, I mean, when they were putting her in the grave, I saw her standing over there as a beautiful young teenager girl.
Oh, that's beautiful, Hassan. That's really nice.
Yeah, I saw her standing over there looking at, she's like, she asked me, what are these people doing? And I said, Mom, they're putting you, into the grave. And she's like, oh, I'm not there, I'm here. That's nice. What she said.
That's nice.
And at that time, I was surrounded with the love of my brothers and sisters. So I stayed there in Pakistan for like another 5 months. This was the first ever time I stayed that long because I was finishing up also some of my film editing and all that. But when I came back to America, like in September of 2017, that's when it hit me. Like because over there, everybody was around. I could talk to my sisters, brothers, phone calls, meeting them every week. But when I came back here in America, I started to feel I have lost something very big. And I wouldn't want it to get up in the morning.
Right.
and I was going through this period of grief, which I didn't even know. I was like, why is it happening to me? And I called my sister, and she was like, you're such a great person. You help other people. You have to get up. You got to go and help people. And but I was not in my place. I was not myself. So I had this period of like about 3 months when I was just down. I mean, I was going to work and I was, doing everything which I needed to do in my life, but I was just not me.
Right.
So one day I was sitting and suddenly I felt the presence of my mother. And she said, you got to get up. And you got to go and do all these things which you always do. And by just lying over there and not thinking and being down, it's not going to get you anywhere. This is not you, son. And I felt as if she like pushed me, gave me a little tap on the shoulder. And I got up and I was fine. I called my brother. I said, I feel great. I'm fine. Mother came last night. She told me I got to go and live my life. And I was so blessed, and I never had that feeling ever again. So I went through that period which needed as a human being for me to go through to, grieve the presence of my mother. But I mean, also the loss at the same time, but her presence in the spirit world. It was just amazing and how spirit helps us go through it. We just have to trust them.
I think it helps.
And
also, because 3 months is not a long time. It took me, it feels like 4 years and it felt like a dark cloud was over me until it lifted. So I think it depends. But I also think you be grounded in spiritualism, in having your Wednesday or your church that you go to, I know it helps tremendously to have a faith, a practice, people around you, that you're working as a medium and all that. Like, it really helps. And I know in my time, even though I believed in all this, I did not have a practice or a community that I was part of. So I can't suggest enough to people that are grieving, because I know plenty of people are grieving right now listening to this. Sometimes our mind wants us to make us just go by ourselves, but it really is good to be with a group of people, get involved. I love your idea of an online spirit circle. Be great if it was a 24-hour website that people could go anytime. No pressure, but that's my my advice. Hassan, I'm looking at the time, and we need to wrap up this episode, although I think we could talk for another 4 hours. But you had mentioned something about your friend Paige calling you every 2 months for a reading. Can I assume that you also, not just medium reading, but you tie in the psychic sense as well, and you can help people kind of get back on direction with their life? Or is that
absolutely?
Yes. Okay.
Well, because the spiritual world, the people do things differently. So some people only do psychic readings. Some people kind of they ask questions about what you need answers from. But I start out with connecting with a loved one or an angel or a spirit guide. And then from there, we can have questions. The answers are provided. So it is a wonderful, 1 hour of phone reading or sitting together. So if anybody's interested, they can reach out to me.
So for our listener, not only is he a doctor, a filmmaker, and a medium, but he said at the beginning of this show that he is welcoming if people are looking for a reading. I have his email address here, and you can email him. And Hassan, I think you're so generous, and I can't imagine you not getting lots of emails, because the joy that you've made me feel, and you haven't even given me a medium reading, but in this hour has been tremendous. So your email address is hassanzee@gmail.com. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's HASSANZ, Z for zebra, ZEE@gmail.com. So again, HASSANZEE@gmail.com. You can send me an email, and from there we can kind of see what times are available or how I can help you, and we can talk about the details.
Wonderful. And then your website for your films is doczfilms.com. And there's a button there that says contact me. Does that go right to you also? If someone clicks on that contact me
yeah,
email?
if they click on it, it's going to take them to the hassanzee@gmail.com.
Okay. So
but
it'll get to you.
Yeah, good idea would be to just directly reach me at hassanzee@gmail.com. And I'm getting so many calls and emails recently that now I have decided that I should have to have a website separately for
Mediumship.
this work. So
yes.
I'm gonna set that up pretty soon, and then I will allocate some of my time in which I just help people with my mediumship readings. So that will be done soon also.
Wow. In 18 years you've been a medium, and 18 years a filmmaker. Is that about right? Is that what you said?
Yes. 18 years of filmmaking. I have done 4 feature films.
Wow.
And the mediumship I have developed, but the readings which I have been giving to people are, I've been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah, great. That's a long time. It's a long time.
Yes.
Yes. And I know those spiritualist churches, you practice a lot sitting before they put you on platforms. So you really have to.
Yeah, they want, our people there are pretty strict. So they won't let anybody just go up there and do readings for people. It has to be evidential mediumship. Like, you have to prove that the person who is coming in, they have to give some signs, and we have to talk to them and get that information from the spirit world to be able to communicate that to the audience. So it is pretty difficult. So I've been doing that for 6 years now. So I'm grateful and thankful for these spiritualist churches giving me the opportunity to help people.
Oh, you're helping people in so many ways. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and from all the people that are listening, Hassan, for everything that you do, how you touch people in so many ways. And some people, I'm sure, will see your films and your future films and not even realize why they feel so good and not know who the man is behind it. But I know. And I'm grateful that we have connected. And I'm sure I will see you face to face. It's probably in California sometime, give you a big hug. And I really want to support you and everything you're up to. So please keep me posted. I'm happy to share your films, your new website, whatever that may be. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much, Sandra. I really love being on your show. And again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to convey this message of love to all the people who are here and who have passed into the spirit.
Yes, and for our listener, thank you for spending this time with us. I really did get filled with the good feeling, good vibrations, good thoughts, and I feel great. And I can tell you, I didn't feel so great when we first started talking. I was trying to psych myself up, but it is true when we have a community, or listening to a show, or going to a church or something. People need people to help lift them up, and then you remember, or try to remember, that in the unseen world around you, you have a whole spirit team of loved ones, of angels, of just all kinds that are just cheering you on. They're your biggest cheerleaders. I love the advice. Be grateful. Say thank you. Look for the beauty in things, and more will come. I just love that. So just a reminder, our home base for all these many episodes is WeDon'tDieRadio.com, where now you can find 294 hours. It's a lot, but they're good. They're empowering episodes about not only we don't die, but that we are souls having a human experience. So Hassan, like many of our guests, have given us tools for living a good life now. Also at WeDon'tDieRadio.com, you can find a free audio from me, How to Survive Grief. Several chapters of my book, it says, of We Don't Die. The secret is, it's the whole book if you click on it. And then also, just if you are interested to come into Orlando in the end of March 2019, visit WeDon'tDieOrlando.com. So in closing, this is Sandra Champlain. I've been your host on We Don't Die Radio. I do believe that life is an education for the soul, and that your life here on earth is important. So remember to say thank you for the little things, the big things, and just raise your vibration and look for the moments where we can serve another person. Really, some great words of advice came in today. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.